Welcome back, CSE 3200 Yukon Stores. At the end of the last video, I had said that I didn't expect our app to look the way it did. This is the way it should look, where the titles are bold and we have the is solved handcuff icon next to just some crimes, the ones that are solved. And I didn't see that, and the error was very obvious when I went into criminal intent. I didn't see any of the code that I did in Chapter 11, so I just copied it over from a different version of the code, and voila, it's behaving like I expect. All right, we are in our 7th and final video of the Chapter 12. On databases and coroutines, and in this video we are going to implement something called a flow, and then later on something called a state flow to keep our data updated. So a flow and a state flow, they are asynchronous coroutines, so circling back to coroutines. Right now our database is set up to only query the database once. If we make any changes to the data, then our other components, other parts of the application will not see that change in the data, and so we will be presented with stale data. So we could go into other parts of our code and change it so that in each part, change it so that an observation would get made. But it's better to use something called a flow. So a flow is a continuous stream of data that gets observed. So we are going to put in a flow object, and we are going to go into these 4 places in our file to put in that flow in each one so that they all can be observers. So we are going to go into crime DAO and make it emit a flow of crimes. We will then go into the crime repository to pass a flow of crimes along. We will go into the crime view model to get rid of the load crimes function and instead present a flow of crimes in an efficient way to the consumers. And then finally, we will go into the crime list fragment to collect crimes from the flow and update its UI. Now, at that point, we still have not hit a state flow, but we'll come back to that after we get that code done. So let's get into crime DAO and do some work. All right, so we're going to go into crime repository, and we're going to find the get crimes. Okay, we will first let's go over here and get rid of a list of crime objects, and we will keep the equals database part, but this will go, and it's going to be a flow, which we'll import in a second. Let's see, which version of this do we want? We want the Kotlin X coroutines version of flow. So let's go down here, and we should have the appropriate import now. So we're going to have a flow of a list of crimes. I guess I could have just put the flow in front of what I already had instead of deleting. But I do need a second end elbow bracket, and let's see if we're good there. All right, so when I hover, it says, and I may have gotten the wrong import, although I thought I got the right one. It says it's required a flow of list of crime objects, but what it found was a list of crime objects, and let's see, that's what I have. Okay, I think I see it. I think what I did is I went to part 2 of this list here. Yeah, I did. I went into the crime repository instead of going into crime DAO. So I went into the wrong file first. So the line of code that I have there should work. All right, so we're going to go into crime DAO, and we are going to put here, instead of list of crime, that's why I expected a list of crime, because this is what it tells it to expect. So we're going to put in flow of a list of crime objects. Now we are going to have to do an import here. And we want the Kotlin version, which is the second time we have imported it, so it was the first one that shows up. And we are going to actually get rid of suspend. And the reason why I believe is because flow itself is a coroutine. It is a suspending function, so it is not required any longer. All right, so let's go back into the second file, which should have been my crime repository. And that change is now accepted. Good. Now we need to go into the third file, which is crime view model, and get rid of load crimes. All right, so there isn't much left in load crimes to get rid of, but we are going to get rid of all of it. And we are going to come up to the init function and leave only the view model scope.launch. The rest of the stuff needs to go away. And one more change, we're going to get rid of val crimes is equal to mutable list of crimes, and change that to val crimes is equal to crime repository, lowercase crime repository, dot get. Sorry, dot get crimes. Okay, one more file to go into. Oh, it doesn't like this one. Okay, so when I hover, it says that suspend function get crime should be called only from a coroutine or another suspend function. Let's see, crime DAO also, oh, not that. That needs to go away. Let's see, crime repository. Okay, I thought I got rid of the suspend. And did that fix it here? It did. Okay, I thought I made that change. Maybe I undid it by accident. Okay, let's see if we did all that. Did I do the crime list fragment? No. So I need to go into the crime list fragment to collect the crimes from the flow and update its user interface. All right, crime list fragment. There it is. All right. So right here, this line has an error because we just got rid of load crimes. We'll get rid of that line entirely. And this is going to go crime list view model, crime list view model dot crimes dot collect. And inside of this collect function, we are going to have a lambda function that points to this binding. We'll tab that over, and we should then be able to supply an end bracket there. And let's see. Oh, I see it. This should have been crimes will be made by the binding. Okay. So there we have it. We have now set up the flow in our crime DAO, our crime repository, our crime view model, and our crime list fragment. Whew, kind of exhausting.